Oh, and you know what? Before we do, since we informally passed on the ranker, we'll hear from the ranker first and then go right to the witnesses. So the gentleman from New Jersey is recognized for 5 minutes for an opening statement.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman. I came right up from the other hearing, but I guess they're all happening too quickly. Let me see what I have here. It's been 661 days since the last pipeline safety reauthorization expired, so I'm glad we're here today because there's a lot to talk about. Pipeline safety risks are just as prevalent as ever, but since President Trump took office, enforcement action against pipeline operators by the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration, or PHMSA, have fallen off a cliff. In fact, it's been so long since we've had a hearing, I haven't used the word PHMSA much. It's not because pipelines have somehow magically gotten safer since January 20th, but instead it's because the Trump administration is once again prioritizing profits for their favorite industries over the safety of the American people. And that's why Trump's forcing out the public servants that help to keep our pipelines safe is so wrong. Nearly all of PHMSA's top staff have left the agency, and dozens of employees have either been forced out or been paid to leave. And the Trump administration is simply letting the agency bleed out talent that was vital to keeping Americans safe. And the Trump administration isn't just haphazardly enforcing law at PHMSA. Sometimes it's not following the law at all. The last reauthorization signed by President Trump required that PHMSA issue a final rule improving leak detection in gas pipelines. PHMSA finalized that rule in January in the final days of the Biden administration, but the Trump administration clawed it back from the printer before it could even be published. It did the same thing with a proposed rule on the safety for carbon dioxide pipelines, which was required by pipeline safety legislation over a decade ago. So PHMSA has even ignored basic transparency requirements that it publish monthly updates on its progress on finalizing rules and regulations required by law. All of this is clear that the Trump administration has no interest in following the law. And that's why it's so important that this committee work together on pipeline safety reauthorization, not just across the aisle here, but with our colleagues on the House Transportation Infrastructure Committee and the Senate Commerce Committee. We must ensure pipelines are safe and that the administration and pipeline operators are following the law. If Republicans want to pass a pipeline safety reauthorization package this Congress, I would urge them not to follow the process that committee Republicans used last Congress. Committee Republicans insisted on the legislative hearing and markup on a partisan bill that cut PHMSA's authorized funding levels by nearly 20% and had several poison pill provisions completely unrelated to safety. They also refused to engage with the Transportation Committee on compromise legislation and, as a result, never even moved a bill to the floor. In short, Republicans should not follow that same playbook. As we look to reauthorize the pipeline safety program, it's important that we focus on safety. Committee Republicans should not try to gut bipartisan programs we established in our last bill. It's also critical that we give PHMSA the resources and tools we know it needs to keep us all safe. So finally, because this is our first Energy Subcommittee hearing since Republicans passed a big, ugly bill, I wanted to briefly talk about the harm that bill will cause American families. We heard testimony from countless Republican witnesses throughout the first half of this year, begging Republicans not to cut vital tax incentives for clean energy or energy affordability programs from the Inflation Reduction Act. They also pleaded with Republicans to stay away from cutting the efforts by the Loan Program Office to keep our energy competitive, especially looking at nuclear power. And Republicans ignored all these experts' pleas, and now as a result, power bills for American families will rise by up to $400 per year, reliability will be undermined, the risk of blackouts will go up, and the climate crisis will get worse. So Republicans' dangerous energy agenda is basically pickpocketing working families to give handouts to the rich, including the big oil and gas corporations who are among the only ones that stand to benefit from it. And I just wanted to say, Mr. Chairman, this pipeline safety issue is very important to me. We had an incident many years ago when I was in Congress. We had a major explosion in our district. Certainly in New Jersey, we're all very concerned about pipeline safety. And and so I just think that, ignoring all this and just cutting all the people and getting rid of all the people that work there is just a terrible thing. I don't understand why pipeline safety can't be bipartisan. It always was in the past. maybe I'm old-fashioned and, nothing's bipartisan anymore. But the bottom line is this really should be. I mean, people care about it, and we should care about it as well. With that, I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. The gentleman yields back the balance of his time. And at this time, again, we'll